1920 Roethlisberger throwback or whatever that is. We have Derek's list here.
I have Jacob's here.
All right, awesome. And yeah, the crippling blight, like you said, trying to play a pacifism role. We see that actually on the other side of the bracket with Evan Rice's Bonds of Faith in the sideboard.
As we see, both players are underway. Turn 1 Gravecrawler here from Derek. Just a Hallowed Fountain here from Jacob. So Jacob will be going down to 18 early this morning.
Jacob down to 18, and Derek with his having both colors of mana now. And off to a great start with a Lawless Troll in turn 2.
No green mana, so we're not going to see a Farsook. You could see an Azorius Charmer, I think, twice here from Jacob.
Yeah, and a lot of, I think a lot of Jacob's selections for his deck are quite good, but it definitely harms the deck when there's full information. And just the lack of broad reactive cards means that this game, at least, he's just going to get pushed around because Derek knows he doesn't really have to play around very much.
Yeah, and you saw Derek just cast a Jarl's Messenger. That's obviously going to resolve because Jacob is counterspellless. So the beatdowns are already starting. As you see, I think twice here from Jacob. Jace Architect of Thought for his draw step, along with green mana finally, with a Sunpetal Grove. One of the important things in this particular matchup is Supreme Verdict, not great against zombies, as you see a Detention Sphere. Jacob does has 2 Terminus in his deck, but he's going to need one of these cards. I think he's going to need some sort of Wrath effect to kind of get himself out of trouble here a little bit.
Yeah. Shuffling around a Gravecrawler and a Bloodthrone Vampire, it appears.
And he's in for 4. A little bit surprised he's not discarding. Okay, must have a Jarl's Messenger. Okay.
And he does.
So it's going to knock Jacob down to 6, which is lethal on board, as we see Alchemist Refuge. Let's see, this is one of those situations where Supreme Verdict is very poor. Supreme Verdict would kill Messenger. Messenger would come back, deal Jacob 2, and then attack for lethal. So
it's Jace Architect of Thought. So 2 creatures here from Derek. We'll wrap up this game 1 in short order.
Let's see if he's able to see it.
He's doing the old count. That's
Oh, okay. He's found the 2 creatures, Gravecrawler and Bloodthrone Vampire, and that is going to do it.
All right. Well, that was easy.
Easy peasy.
That game was pretty easy.
Wow. Derek Boyko up a game right now in the semifinals of the Star City Games Open Series here in Seattle. And as we do look here for sideboarding, we're going to cut back to us very quickly so we can give you guys some premium. Now, I know what you're thinking. Do I actually have a question ready? Yeah, I do.
Okay,
great. I do. Great. I know you're thinking I didn't, but I do.
All right, go ahead.
So, of course, we're going to ask you guys a question. You're going to send the answer to hashtag SCG Premium. We're going to give away 6 months of premium. And the question is, in Jacob Thiessen's Band Control deck, he is not playing a card that interacts very favorably with Thragtusk, a card that normally sees play in Band Control decks, a card that interacts favorably with Thragtusk. If you're able to name that card, send the answer to hashtag SCG Premium. A real doozy, I know.
Yeah,
I asked him a tough
That's fine. That's a solid B+ question, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. That was okay.
You can send the answer over to hashtag at SCG Premium, and we'll have one winner win 6 months of premium. Excuse me. Again, the question in Jacob Thiessen's Band Control deck, he has eliminated 1 card from his deck list that works extremely well with Thragtusk, often seen in Band Control deck lists. If you know the name of the card, send the answer to at hashtag SCG Premium. We will select the winner. 6 months of premium.
I mean, it was better than my question yesterday, which is damning by the faintest of praises, I know, but yeah, it was fine.
Yours was embarrassing.
Onto the sideboard.
Yeah. Jacob down a game here. I have Jacob's deck list in front of me. Taking a look here how he can shore up his Zombies matchup. Probably a matchup he wasn't expecting to play against this weekend. Again, he has an additional Supreme Verdict, which just isn't very good in this matchup. Geist of Traff, nothing impressive here. Doesn't even trade well. Cameo, the Moon Sage, 5 mana. It's very slow. I mean, a little bit better because it's on the play, but there's an additional Snapcaster range on the sideboard. Then you find Dissipate, Negate, and Purify the Grave. Purify the Grave, as we saw in Adam Ruprecht's match, actually, quite impressive. It was actually against Derek Boyko playing for top 8.
Yep.
Was able to remove Gravecrawler, was able to remove Dross Messenger with the Undying Trigger on the stack. So there were some nice things that he could do with that. But that's really the only card in Jacob's sideboard that I would find to be even reasonable to sideboard in.
Yeah, and I'm not even positive it's particularly good.
Yeah.
On the other side, we have Appetite for Brains, which strikes me as okay. I mean, certainly the creatures and the planeswalkers matter a lot. Deathbright Shaman, Desecrated Demon, Golgari Charm, Vampire Nighthawk, and Vile Rebirth. None of which I'm a huge fan of here. So I think Appetite is pretty reasonable. But I think the rest of his sideboard is not something he really want to touch here.
Yeah, don't really love Deathbright Shaman in this matchup. You can make an argument for Golgari Charm, as I know when Derek was on camera playing against Adam Ruprecht and his blue-white flash deck, he did board that in that match, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that come in again. He was basically boarding it in just to kind of trump Supreme Verdict.
Yep.
But I think that his deck is already naturally so good against Supreme Verdict that he doesn't really need that effect.
Yeah, you can actually just trump it with, Gravecrawler, Troll, Messenger, Blood Artist.
Yeah.
Just the cards that are already in your deck. You don't need to really go out of your way to fight over that card.
And I mean, one reason that he may bring a Golgari Charm is because it does destroy an enchantment, and with 4 Detention Spheres here in Jacob's main deck, I think that it's reasonable for him to sideboard in. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like it's a reasonable decision.
Yeah, it's almost certainly better than the 4 Tragic Slips at the minimum.
Yes.
Which are not at their best here.
So I'd say that game really went to plan for Derek. I mean, I think that full information obviously is a big deal. How do you feel about just, when deck lists are given out for a top 8 and people do have full information? Is that something, would you rather deck lists stay hidden? Is that something that they could reasonably do?
I mean, I think, 10 years ago maybe there's a conversation for that. But now, just with the way that the internet and information is, I mean, it's absurd to think that people can't get that information, so you might as well just level up the playing field.
Sure, just make it public.
It's also just better for the people following the coverage, just to have the 75 cards in front of them, so
okay.
That's my preference, at least.
And before we start this match, in our other match, Evan Rice is up a game with his Blue-White Humans deck list against Toby Kane and his Junk Reanimator deck list.
All right. Jacob keeping his opening hand and Derek going back for a new one. Yeah, it seems Jacob's deck list is a little bit light on just anti-creature cards in general. Maybe that's, his main deck has been adapted to shore up his beatdown matchups some, but his sideboard is pretty lacking.
Yeah, his sideboard is, there's not much here, especially for zombies, which again is a deck that has fallen by the wayside in this format, and you can really tell that coming into this tournament, just looking at the 75 that Jacob has. I wasn't expecting to play against the deck. I feel like a lot of Derek's opponents probably felt that way this weekend.
Yep.
As we see many Detention Spheres, a Garruk Primal Hunter, and a Terminus in Jacob's opening hand, along with just a 3rd land. So Detention Spheres are online, but he's going to need a Far Seek or something to be able to keep hitting his land drops.
His hand is not particularly smooth.
As we see Derek come across with Diregraph Ghoul, we have a follow-up of Sign in Blood, targeting himself, knocking him down to 18 apiece.
Another Sign in Blood and
a Rancor. Selesnya Charm, the draw step here for Jacob. Detention Sphere takes care of the Diregraph Ghoul. We are on to Derek's turn 3.
We're going to see another Sign in Blood here.
Yep.
This is Sign in Blood at its very best here against Jacob's removal heavy land light hand.
Yeah.
He's going to have a lot of time to deploy out all the cards he's playing. It feels like Jacob really needs to be able to get that Garruk Primal Hunter online in short order here.
As we're going to see Overgrown Tomb coming to play untapped. They're dealing himself a bit of a damage here. We're going to see Deathbright Shaman as well.
And there's a Supreme Verdict, so...
Well, that's a Sphinx's Revelation, actually.
Oh, that's Sphinx's Revelation, sorry.
It's much worse, oddly enough. We're going to see Detention Sphere take care of that. And trading 1-for-1 Detention Sphere is, fine because it's just acting as Oblivion Ring then, but it's still rather unimpressive.
Yeah.
The two things that he has Oblivion Ring, or Detention Sphere, excuse me, just not just meh.
Yep. I mean, Jacob basically just needs a bunch of running lands and he'll be fine. The one bright spot in all of this is, Jacob's not under any pressure.
Yeah.
With Derek spending his time signing blooding, so.
So we're going to see a Gravecrawler here. We're going to see a Rancor there.
Boom.
And a Blood Artist.
Surprised that, I guess he only has so many cards to set out. Blood Artist seems not good here in this matchup.
We're going to see an Azorius Charm drawn for Jacob. Patrick, put you on the spot. Cycle or hold it?
I mean, if he's going to cycle, I would cycle now. Because he wants to be able to go land this turn and land the following turn. I would not hold it until the end of the turn.
Okay.
If he's planning on cycling it, it should happen now. I can understand maybe with, Derek not really having any zombies in play and not that many in his deck, honestly. He may want a Selesnya Charm to just trade with the Gravecrawler. But I would definitely not Azorius Charm at the end of the turn. Another Artist. Jacob moving the Detention Sphere to the front of his hand.
And Azorius Charm going to put the Gravecrawler back. Rancors move back to Derek's hand. And that may be the turn, yeah.
And a Hinterland Harbor, so big draw.
And so that's the second green source for Garrick, as you said. Detention Sphere also did move forward as well. Now, would you blow the Detention Sphere here just on these two Blood Artists? Are you okay with that? Or do you just save it? I mean, 2 for 1 obviously present, but he can save it maybe for something better.
I would probably just... this is fine, I guess, because of the Rancor. I feel like, given how little Derek has done, I would prefer probably just to just Supreme Verdict for 1. Sphinx's Revelation for 1 instead.
Okay.
Because just sort of the way the game's going, if you get that Garrick online, it's just... Derek's almost certainly doomed.
And Derek's hand right now for you guys at home is 2 Rancors. Looks like a land and then a Gravecrawler on top of the deck from Azorius Charm. So he's in some trouble, especially, as Patrick said, if Jacob's able to draw that 3rd land and, more importantly, a 3rd green source for Garrick Primal Hunter. So we're going to see a Golgari Charm
On the Detention Sphere, getting back his 2 Blood Artists. What did we draw there? Is that
we drew the Gravecrawler. Yep. So Derek's hand should be Rancor, Gravecrawler, and he's deciding right now, am I going to, put the Rancors over here on the Blood Artists, make those into real threats, or just put them right onto the Gravecrawler here. I'm just going to put them onto the Gravecrawler.
Alright, so we're going to see a Verdict for 2 here at the end of the turn.
Gravecrawler comes across for 4, knocking Jacob down to 14. And we are going to see that Sphinx's Revelation for 2. So Jacob's going to push back up to 16.
Gold Fountain, a Selesnya Charm. Still looking for another green.
And he has
Farseek.
sort of found it.
Alright, we're going to play Holophano on tap and Terminus. Not a bad answer to Gravecrawler and Blood Artists.
Yes. He is sitting rather pretty right now. As we know, Derek's hand is a Rancor, a land, and it looks like a just drawn Appetite for Brains.
That's not bad. He gets that's quite good here. He gets the Garrick out of the hand. And now Jacob's hand is just some Selesnya Charms and a Farseek. So Derek probably needs to find one of his 3s pretty quickly. Messenger or Dredge Mangler, but certainly the immediate threat of Garrick is no longer an issue.
And again, this is kind of the situation that we've seen Band controlling over the course of the weekend, which is now it just needs to draw one of its good cards.
There it is.
And he just did.
There it is. That's definitely counts. That was a Sphinx's Revelation.
Yep, Sphinx's Revelation number 2 drawn there for Jacob. Wouldn't be surprised to see him just main phase at this turn, but he just is going to do it on the end step.
I probably would have. I mean, it's marginal, but main phasing it, looking for a land drop that turn.
Terminus, Hinterland Harbor, and a mystery card drawn there for Jacob. Draw step is going to be a Thragtusk, and things are starting to swing his way.
Yep. Definitely starting to pull ahead here. And a Farseek as well.
So this is going to push Jacob's life total to a comfortable level of 22, along with having a blocker here and a blocker later. So Thragtusk looking to do what it does best, which is beat zombies.
Yep. This card is not easy to defeat. And Derek's hand stinks also. Which does not help matters. And somehow Jacob is also far ahead in the life race as well.
Yeah. As we see a Dross Messenger here from
the better cards you could have.
Yeah, from Derek, knocking Jacob down to 20. You know, it just really leads me to believe, and this is pretty typically the case with zombies, if they're not able to get him dead quickly, and with 2 Blood Artists already out of the way because of Terminus, you know, it's important for zombies just to get the game over quickly, because there just isn't a lot of reach in the black-green version. If it were black-red, it would be a different story.
Yeah, you'd have Brimstone Volley, you know, Searing Spear shenanigans, possibly that you could cobble together, but here it's just more creatures, which is just playing into Jacob's sweepers.
As you see, I think twice on the main phase, drawing Jacob a Sun Petal Grove.
I mean, do you start attacking here? With the 2 Selesnya Charms and Terminus in hand, I think there's definitely a case to be made for just starting to get in.
Yeah, just starting to get this game over with. And that's the same conclusion it looks like that he's come to as well.
Because Jacob's hand actually isn't particularly strong here. And by starting to attack with the Thragtusk, he's sort of maximizing what his Selesnya Charms can do.
And in addition to that, I also like how it kind of puts the onus on Derek to make a decision there.
Yep.
You know, it gives him the opportunity to potentially make a mistake, or, you know, if he does block, then Jacob's like, yeah, I don't need to Terminus now.
Right.
Or he can just go over the top with Selesnya Charm as well, as you said.
Derek with a pretty land-heavy draw here. Saying just the messenger. Jacob is not going to use his Selesnya Charm to make a blocker, and so he's just going to take the hit. I'm going to draw another messenger.
It's going to push Jacob down to 15. We're going to see think twice again, drawing a Cavern of Souls.
I think that second messenger might be enough to induce a Terminus here.
Might be time. As we see Selesnya Charm on screen for you guys, all 3 of its beautiful modes. This is Selesnya Charm 2 in Jacob's hand, threatening a lethal attack right now because of 2/2/2 and trample.
Yep. I still think that I probably Selesnya Charm here and then Terminus, which I think is the conclusion that Derek has Jacob rather has also come to. So he's going to give his Thragtusk +2/+2 and trample, knocking Derek down to 4, and then cast Terminus, sweeping away the 2 messengers and getting a Centaur off of his Thragtusk. Or Beast rather. Same, it's a 3/3. Same dude.
Going to draw a card. Looks like he drew a Deathrite Shaman.
And we still have Selesnya Charm for next turn threatening lethal. And that's going to be a concession from Derek.
So we will be playing a game 3 in the semifinal matchup between Jacob Thiessen and Derek Boyko. Selesnya Charm, interesting card. You know, it's a card that it's hard to say exactly where its home is because it does so many different things, and you wouldn't really typically find that kind of card in this sort of deck. Not really a controlling type card like Azorius Charm is, and this deck isn't very aggressive, so it doesn't really take advantage of the modes particularly well. But at the same time, we just saw in that particular game, it can do a couple different things that no other card can.
It's got a lot of disparate utility, obviously, and I think that if you have enough creatures in your deck and you feel like you're going to be playing against enough 5-power creatures, I think it's a totally reasonable card to be main decking. Yeah. He's not maximizing. His deck's obviously not set up to be maximizing Giant Growth or to be maximizing to do Vigilance creature, but there's enough utility. I mean, just random things are going to come up in games where you want that sort of effect. And, you know, if you feel like you're going to be being able to use it as terminate a fair amount of the time, then I think it's a pretty easy card to include. I mean, there's a lot of power available to this Bant deck, so it's competing against a bunch of other reasonable slots in the deck. But I think certainly in the creature-oriented matchups, it does a lot of good work. It's Giant Growth and make an instant speed blocker are two very good effects, particularly when coupled with Snapcaster Mage.
Agreed. A lot of value just in that particular card. Just so many different modes, so many different options. That's what you want in a Magic card.
Yeah, and you know, you see a lot of these Bant decks just get behind very early against some of these aggressive decks, and Selesnya Charm can do a lot of work there.
Yeah. So I don't think that much is going to change for the players. We did see Deathrite Shaman and Golgari Charm from Derek, and Appetite of Brains as well, so he did draw some of the sideboard cards, and still unable to win, as we're going to see his deck get shuffled.
So if he's bringing in 8 cards, what would you want to cut? Like 4 Tragic Slips, a Killing Wave, and
I don't like Ultimate Price either.
Yeah,
personally, like
Ultimate Price is not. I think if it's only 2 copies, it's okay to keep. I mean, I hate this Blood Artist stuff quite a bit in this deck because it's just so hard to cobble together against Jacob. Jacob isn't really using a bunch of spot removal or trading very much in combat, so
sure.
The Blood Artists were bad enough in that game where Jacob had to think very hard about whether or not he wanted a Detention Sphere 2 of them away, while Derek had no other action and a Rancor in his hand.
Yeah,
like
that's true. That's pretty telling. Yeah, honestly, I definitely agree with you. And you know, it isn't even that great, as you said, because there are 2 Terminus in this deck as well.
Yep.
So it's not even, you know, if the Wrath button is finally pushed, it doesn't even mean that Blood Artist is really going to even get the value that it's supposed to.
Yeah, it is also quite interesting to me exactly how different Terminus and Supreme Verdict are. Terminus is an ace in this matchup, and Supreme Verdict is kind of marginal.
Yeah.
It can have its moments, certainly, but there's a lot that can go wrong
there
as well.
There are a lot of board positions where it will not have its moments. As Derek looking over his opening 7, looks like
both players are good.
All right, here we go.
Deathrite Shaman. Holophon. Farseek off the top, but I don't believe he has...
Yep.
Oh, he does have a Hinterland Harbor.
Okay. I was looking for the same thing, because we have not seen him accelerate yet in this match.
He has, it looks like Supreme Verdict, Snapcaster Mage. A strong opening 7.
Yeah, the Angel Serenity is the back card. So you see a lot of Troll.
And a good start for Derek as well. Hinterland Harbor, I assume we are getting a Temple Garden with this one to make sure if we draw Garrick that we have an opportunity to cast it.
Yep. Mana online for Jacob this game, and ahead of schedule as well, so this is an ideal start for him, and I think ideal start for Derek as well.
But also, very good draws for both players. I mean, the Angel of Serenity in that hand, ideally, would probably be something a little bit faster, but...
Thragtusk comes to mind.
Yeah, probably would rather be a Thragtusk. So does Derek have some natural green mana in his hand? Because otherwise, it's going to be that Supreme Verdict can actually tag the Troll. With the way that Derek's playing here, I have to imagine that he is worried about playing into Supreme Verdict because
Yeah, it
regenerates for B.
Yeah, just regenerates from 1B. That's okay.
Regenerator for G.
Derek really thinking his
Yeah,
turn through here.
Does he not have a third land drop? Is that the issue here? Because he's shuffling around a couple of 2s. No, he has. Okay.
I think he's deciding, you know, how much do I want to extend? Do I just want to move in on to Lot Literal and make Supreme Verdict, you know, pretty embarrassing by discarding onto it? Or
Okay.
we're going to see a Blood Artist. Okay. And then Deathrite Shaman looking to remove the Farseek that was cast.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
But now Supreme Verdict is put on the stack by Jacob. Derek has to make a choice. Do I want to remove for Deathrite Shaman? Do I want to regenerate for Lotless Troll? You know, what approach do I want to take?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to just keep your troll around here.
Okay.
And drain for 2.
As we're gonna
Dredge
see.
Mangler. Very solid draw, and black still available to regenerate the troll. Does not appear that we have a Thragtusk in Jacob's hand. We're looking at a hand of Selesnya Charm, Think Twice, Snapcaster Mage.
Drag. Not much going on for Jacob, just passing back. I mean, definitely threatening things. Threatening Azorius Charm, threatening Selesnya Charm, threatening Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah, but it looks like his defensive measures for this turn are just... Looks like it's just Selesnya Charm and a Snapcaster Mage.
So Derek making the simple play of just, all right, here I come. Let's see what you've got.
Like I'm pretty sure he needs to Selesnya Charm and put in front of the troll, and then and Think Twice. He could actually lead with Think Twice first, because if he finds Terminus off of it, that makes this turn much easier, of course.
Sure.
And then if he doesn't find it, he can... I just don't think he can take this hit, given that the Selesnya Charm doesn't really do anything the next turn. Like, he just kind of has to use his mana this turn.
Sure.
So if he finds something like Sphinx's Revelation or some productive reactive card, he has the mana to do it. So, you know, if he finds an Azorius Charm the next turn, he could, like, flashback his thing twice, Azorius Charm a guy, and try to get to a position where he can cast Angel of Serenity. But I don't think he can just take this hit and not use his mana. I guess he can think twice and then think twice again. But
yeah, that's definitely an option right now.
I think it has to start with think twice, because if you find Terminus here, that makes things very easy.
And he's going to start with Snapcaster Mage.
Getting nothing.
You're going to see Selesnya Charm.
I'm not
particularly fond of this line.
I'm not on board with this. I could see doing this if his hand was a little bit better, but
and Derek thinking things through for himself.
like, I don't think it's worth giving up this amount of equity, especially when you're going to kill a Drug Mangler. I mean, he obviously doesn't have the mana yet to scavenge, but that's a realistic possibility too.
So you see Derek thumbing through a couple different cards there. almost safe to assume that something is going to come into play this turn. Not entirely sure what.
Yeah, I think twice and think twice again. Because also if you find a land drop, like, let's say you think twice and think twice again. Next turn, you have Selesnya Charm, Snapcaster Selesnya Charm, and then we have a total, like we get out of that turn and we have another window for Angel Serenity. We've drawn a Thragtusk here, which is a huge draw.
Big draw there from Jacob.
Derek definitely not out of it by any stretch. As long as he has any creatures to discard to the trolls, he can still punch through.
He can still get through the beast, but it is very important that he does have a creature, or these guys are just going to be roadblocked for a while. I mean, he can keep getting through 2 points of damage, of course, and regenerate the one that Thragtusk blocks, but you want to be able to beat through Thragtusk.
Yeah, based on what I saw in his hand, I think he was thumbing around some creatures. I think and he really only needs one.
So the Overgrown Tomb coming to play untapped, which is going to open up. It's going to open up Scavenge for Dreadmangler now.
Yeah. But scavenging here seems a lot worse than just discarding a creature, assuming he has one to discard. No.
So there's your block. Now what are we going to see here? You see Diregraph Ghoul, and we're going to see Diregraph Ghoul. Okay. So he's going to try to overwhelm the Thragtusk.
Yeah. I mean, this induces a... I assume this induces a Supreme Verdict, but that's...
So we're going to see a Think Twice, Alchemist Refuge, the card drawn, and we are going to see that Supreme Verdict.
Alright, so we're going to regenerate here. But now we're in. Definitely, next turn is going to be Angel Serenity, as Jacob's hand is 2 lands plus Angel. Unless we just drew an Appetite.
We did.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
Jacob's hand is, Jacob's hand is Alchemist Refuge and wow, what a draw. What a draw. Jacob is left with just Alchemist Refuge and his Beast token.
Jeez. I mean, Jacob still has plenty of big draws.
And that's a big one.
That's one of them, certainly.
And it's one that he can't cast.
Oh my god, he doesn't have triple green. What a beating.
I think he has to play the Refuge. The Refuge allows him to bluff anything at any point, too, which is pretty nice.
Well, I think we're in a no bluff zone from Derek's position now. We're just casting things as they're drawn. A land's not bad here because he gets to reject alpha with both. He gets to scavenge onto one troll and send both. Whichever one Jacob blocks is fine. Derek doesn't care either way.
We're going to see flashback on Think Twice. And we are not going to see Terminus, but we are going to see a third source of green.
Sunpetal Growth, certainly. Supreme Verdict. Just another land. But Garrick does some work here.
Three, 4, 5. Garrick is fantastic right now. Just lets him keep blocking.
Yep.
He can make a beast. He can block the big one, block the small one. He also has the option of drawing cards right now, but that's not. I don't think that's what he wants to do.
That's some risky business. Although I guess, I mean, because like the problem with getting the problem with the beast here is that if Derek draws a creature, then presumably you're just trading one. You're blocking in front of each. He loses both. Then the next turn he's just living off the top of his deck because Garrick only generates another beast that doesn't get him out in front.
Sure.
So the argument for drawing is that it gives him, like, he has 3 shots of something because he sort of needs to find something anyway. It's unlikely that this Garrick alone is going to stabilize the board because he's going to be losing both of his. It's very realistic he loses both of his creatures this turn if that's the way he goes.
Okay, I understand what you mean.
Like he's not going to die from the one troll even if he draws a creature. But if Derek draws a creature here, it's pretty disastrous.
Yeah, I think he can draw a creature, he can draw a Rancor. There are a lot of cards that he can draw. I think he's just hoping.
Yeah, Rancor.
Oh no, see.
That's also pretty bad.
I'm not. Is he supposed to cast that or hold that?
I'm not. I mean, this is. I think it's correct to cast here.
Okay.
Yeah, this seems fine because now we're also taking Supreme Verdict out of the equation. I mean, this is pretty rough.
Terminus very much in the equation. I think we're drawing 3.
Yep.
Hit 1. Sphinx's Revelation. Think twice. Showed it for the Snapcaster Mage and Thragtusk.
Okay.
Big draws. Big draws. He did drop that Snapcaster Mage on the table, so Derek does know about that. Something else interesting right now as well is he can Sphinx's Revelation for 1, 2, 3, 4. He can Sphinx's Revelation for 6. Alternatively, because he has Alchemist Refuge, he can actually flash in that Thragtusk.
Yeah, that play from Derek last turn is really tough because I can understand like this board state looks pretty good, but you're opening up Jacob to getting to an Ancestral.
Yeah, if he'd never been able to draw those cards, all he could do was make a Beast token, and he did brick for his draw step.
Yeah, but it's weighing that against not having a Blood Artist in play.
Sure.
But I mean, the way that Jacob drew off of his Garrick there, I mean, I think Derek's in quite a bit of trouble now. Because he needs to spend some amount of his attacking equity, or whatever you want to call it, next turn, getting Garrick off the table, because he can't let Jacob make another beast for free.
Yep.
So this Thragtusk is basically a free pass for this turn, and then next turn Jacob gets to fire off a large Sphinx Revelation, and then...
And there's almost no coming back from that.
I mean, Jacob's certainly not out of the woods yet, but the fact that...
Oh, okay. You sure about that? Yeah?
We got a prompt in that said that there was a missed artist trigger last turn. So I assume both of these are coming out and attacking...
Silencing Charm, exiling Lotleth Troll, which is huge right now. Because it is 5 power. It's not even going to die. It can't regenerate. Blood Artist isn't going to trigger from that. That's a huge turn.
Yep, Jacob is going to take this game over now, I think.
Pendulum back swinging his way. Thragtusk happily jumping in front of Lotleth Troll.
By the way, that Derek is tanking here, I assume he drew a creature, but that was... Yeah. Going back with hindsight here.
Welcome back, players.
It would have been a lot better for him to just trade off, just keep the Blood Artist in hand and use it to get rid of a Centaur.
You see Azorius Charm drawn there for Jacob. I just think that it's correct to basically, hold that, run both of his guys in. He has to block both of them, and then just force Jacob to draw, just to peel the perfect card.
Yep.
I mean, those are the situations that I like to put myself in.
Yep.
Now
I mean, a lot of the big draws that Jacob has bury him if it's a draw step or 3 cards, but obviously giving him 3 extra looks at it is...
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Especially with the power level of this deck, 3 extra looks it feels like a lot more because the cards do so much. I mean, a card like the Tension Sphere is an insane draw there. It just takes care of both Lotleth Trolls, just something like that.
Yeah.
And giving him 4 shots at the Tension Sphere instead of 1 is obviously a huge difference. As we see Jacob going on the offensive now, feeling comfortable. And now Blood Artist jumping in the way. So you see that Blood Artist didn't really accomplish a ton this game.
It's also it's actually possible that it tricked Derek, where you should just not cast it.
Yeah. So you see a Temple Garden. Jacob just passing back, very happy and content to resolve this Sphinx's Revelation.
Yeah.
And knowing that he can do nothing about it.
It's funny with Jacob Ancestral in there and flipping over the Snapcaster Mage, which was already pretty bad. for Derek, and it actually being the worst of the 3 cards he drew.
Yeah. So we see Gravecrawler discarded here a lot with Troll. It's going to come back as well, so great interaction there between the 2 cards.
It's a combo deck. It's going to be a big Sphinx's Revolution.
It's going to be a Revelate.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to Revelate for 6. Draw 6 cards, gain 6 life, go up to a comfortable 12. And really, being at 6 is comfortable against this zombie deck again because there is no reach, there is no burn. As we see in Azorius Charm here. Basically time walking Derek now.
Yeah.
Jacob with the option, he's going to take it to Sphinx's Revelation for 4 in the end step.
And I really like Jacob not getting too fancy here, like not valuing the extra 2 cards just, and that's enough to get the concession. I think a lot of players would have been committed to just using all of their mana that turn to Revelate, but drawing 4 versus drawing 6 there is roughly the same thing. And taking, like, I would gladly give up 2 cards on that Sphinx's Revelation, take a draw step away from Derek.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very subtle thing, but I really like the way that Jacob ended that game. It was a nice play. So congratulations, Jacob Thiessen and his band control list, winning 2-1 over Derek Boyko playing Black-Green Zombies. Jacob will be moving on to the finals. The last update that we had, the other side of the bracket,